What's up, Bombshells? Welcome to Bombshell 1111 Podcast, Therapy for Women of Color. My name is Keya, and I'm your host. Generally, podcasts request donations, but I want you to show love by simply subscribing to my social media platforms by visiting my website at www.bombshell1111podcast.com. I want to see thousands of subscribers on this platform. Leave your comments and I'll show love by shouting you out on my social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. I want to thank you for your continued support as always. And with that being said, let's jump into this new episode. Welcome to Bombshell 1111 Podcast, Therapy for Women of Color, where we discuss mental health and personal development. My name is Keya, and I'm your host. Tonight, you guys will be talking about personal development with our special guest, Dr. Rachel Wilson. So without further ado, you guys, let's get to it. Hi, Dr. Rachel. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you again for allowing me to be on your show. This is awesome.
I am great. I'm so happy to have to come on and be a part of my podcast. I've been reading a lot about you. Your bio was so in depth, and it was just like, oh my God, what does she not do? A teacher, or a preacher, a speaker. I mean, and then like over 20 years of experience and like a mixture of everything. I think that's just so awesome.
Well, it is amazing for the journey that I've had to take and the road I've had to walk. And it's just a blessing to be able to be an example to women to say, yes, you can. You can do all things through Christ that strengthen you.
Amen. I believe in that. So, yes, I believe in that as well. Dr. Wilson, I did do a little short bio about you, who you are, what you do, but I always like to allow the guests an opportunity to do that as well. So can you just give us a short intro on who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing this for?
Absolutely. So this is my short version. My name is Rachel Wilson. I also pastor along with my husband. My husband is Pastor Ronald Wilson, and I honor him in his presence and his absence rather. My husband, Pastor Ronald Wilson, we've been pastoring for over 23 years. I've been married for going on 26 years this coming November. And I am a happy mother of 4 boys. I'm a boy's mom, and I do many things. I wear several hats, and I absolutely love it because the grace of the Lord is on me to do what I do. I'm the founder of Girl Talk International. In 2021, we marked our 12th year, which we know number 12 represents establishment. So we believe there are things being established. I've also the founder and executive director of Flavors, which is also under our nonprofit umbrella. And we do middle school. So we have our own mentorship program where we go in after school and we mentor the young ladies and teach them about life and the purity of that. And that's all from the Christian foundation and perspective to lead them in the right direction. And that's just to say a few. And also I'm a national and international gospel recording artist that God has so much blessed me to really chart the Nielsen charts in the top 20s. I'm doing very well even now on the billboards. God has really blessed me in many areas to work with different ones as well. So hopefully that's the short version, just a few things that I do.
A lot of great things you do, and congratulations on each and every last one of those. I read that about you as well. I thought that I was just like, oh my God, I told you, it was like, what does she not do? I think that's just a great accomplishment, and even more of a great accomplishment for you to be a woman and doing all those things. So
thank you.
Again, my kudos to you. Dr. Wilson, I love the concept behind the nonprofit organization Girl Talk. Where did you get that whole concept from, and what exactly do you do within that organization?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Number one, it came from my heart. I absolutely love being a female. I really do embrace that feminine. I just love being feminine. And I love women. I just absolutely love women. And what I mean by that is just being able to relate with them, relate with pain and how we're all wired emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and things that we have all gone through. We can relate and strengthen each other. Our iron can sharpen another lady iron. And so it was out of that passion and out of that desire, I began to pray to the Lord. And I asked God when we moved to Greensboro 16 years ago, I said, Lord, please, I want to work with women. I always work with women. I said, but give me something, give me a tool, something that I can do to bring women together in fellowship. And it was after 3 months of praying and just seeking God with a pure motive, not a motive to just, put something together where you get all the credit and the glory. You try to,
Mm-hmm.
wean women to yourself. But it was
Mm-hmm.
really to glorify God. And it was on a Tuesday night prayer. I think we had a word study night and we were praying at the altar. And the Lord had just gave me that whisper girl talk. And it's something about it. When he gave me girl talk, it's like everything just prophetically downloaded in my spirit on what to do. Bring women together every 2 weeks, come together. You all just come to a place where you can relax, have free food, free gift giveaway, just open up where you can share. You can do girl talk sessions. And it's just like he just gave me the whole spiritual like blueprint. It just downloaded in my spirit. And that was over 12 years ago. So the whole passion was just to be a voice because one of the things that we advocate for and we are against as well, but we're for women, and we support women that have gone through domestic violence. So we definitely advocate for women like that, and just women. It's so many things that women go through. Women that have been raped, and they need to have a safe place where they can talk and get healed and get restored. So I would like to say that is where it came from, and that is why it is still going on strong because our motive and the passion is right.
And so, Dr. Wilson, how does one, if they don't live in the same area where you live, if they want or desire to be a part of Girl Talk, is that possible?
Absolutely. So we have our own website, girltalkinternational.com. Girltalkinternational.com. And so you can go on our website. We also have a Facebook. We're also on Facebook as well. We're on Instagram, but you can go to our website at not at Girl Talk International, the whole word spelled out .com, and you can look up on there. Now there are a few girl talks out there, so sometimes you can look for something and something else may pop up, but you'll know that it's ours if you see Rachel Wilson. You'll see Rachel Wilson, and then you'll see our logo, which is a sheep carrying a cross.
Okay. And Dr. Wilson, let's talk a little bit about flavors. What
Yes.
exactly is flavors? Now tell me about that.
Okay, so flavors, and that is another thing that basically is an extension of Girl Talk because Girl Talk primarily is geared to the women. Flavors is geared to the younger ladies because in middle school that's that middle ground where most of us have made the worst mistakes. We're confused. That's where the suicide rate is up. It's them in betweens,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in that middle ground. And so we just from again the Holy Spirit gave me a dream and showed me that I had a continuation. Don't just stop at Girl Talk flavors. He showed me in the dream there was some younger girls, and 4 years later we started along with a assistant principal that was a part of our ministry. It was opportunity open for Girl Talk to get started in the schools, and that was over 7-8 years ago now. And so it's geared toward healing the mind, the body, and the soul of the younger girls. So we're there to talk to them about everything middle-aged girls need to talk about. Boys, we talk about sex and its purity and how to go about it, education, how to, anti-bullying, just anything you could think of that would gear them and compass them in the right direction so they can have an amazing career, amazing education, and they can have a chance at life before life take them out. Because a lot of the young girls that through the 7 to 8 year span that we've talked to, suicidal, you wouldn't believe, rape, molestation, abuse with their boyfriend. Several of them have gone through pregnancies, abortions, you name it. At that young age, you would be so surprised of the pressures that are going on in that area. So that's a huge area that I'm really happy to have my hands on to try to change the trajectory of where those young lady lives will end up.
And so, Dr. Wilson, what is the exact like age range that you work with? Is it just like because I'm listening and I hear you saying women and youth, but is there a particular age? Are you just open to young women and young adults? How what is the age range?
Yeah, so thank you. That's an awesome question. So in middle school, from my understanding, I believe middle school started 11.
Mm-hmm.
So 11 to about 15 is the latest that I've seen in that range. Sometimes it's a 10-year-old, that kind of
Yeah.
going on 11, but it's like anywhere between 10 to 15 is the latest. That's the reach that we're in between for the flavors. Now, Girl Talk International, when we have our meetings, we still have the women, they bring their teenagers as well, because Girl Talk is primarily open for everybody. But a lot of what we talk about at times is like mature audience. You see what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as the parents are okay and they consent to say, okay, this is okay for my 15-year-old to hear this because she done heard it all, then that's fine. But if there are some parents that are like, okay, I'm just going for myself and I'll wait for my daughter to be a part of Flavors or some other type of mentorship program, because it's a lot of what we talk about is discussed among primarily adults, and it's mature audience information.
And so, Dr. Wilson's for the program Flavors, that's an open membership as well. Do you have to necessarily live within that area, or can you do this via online, even if you don't live there? Is that an option?
Yes, well, this is what I would like to say. If there's anyone listening to the words that's coming off of my mouth and you're interested, contact us. Please get connected to girltalkinternational.com and, put a memo in there and say, look, I want this at our school in New Jersey or wherever, because what we're doing now, due to the pandemic, and supposedly we're supposed to be a post-pandemic, but we're back in pandemic, we've been doing Flavors virtual for the last going on 2 years. So we have right now 3 schools that are still participating in virtual Flavors. And what we're trying to do now, that's just in my community, what my dream is to open it up to all schools, to have it everywhere, where these young girls are being mentored virtually everywhere. They have their own mentors. We do this on Zoom, and and it's very effective. Very, very effective. We've stopped, suicide has been stopped. You would be surprised from just a mentorship program that what it can stop.
Yeah, I totally can believe that, Dr. Wilson. And that's why I asked that question, because you already know what the new millenniums and the younger people, what is this? Electronics, technology, that's their thing.
Yes.
So yeah, with them being able to be in, having the opportunity to be open to groups online, virtually, they tend to go towards those more because they can openly discuss their feelings. They're not so much, put on the spot, and they're more open to conversation, I've noticed. With doing Zoom and things like that, because they can have their cameras off but still be a part of, so little bitty things like that. And with the whole pandemic thing, these younger people with not being able to go in school in person, they have had a higher rate of mental health in reference to depression.
Yes, ma'am.
Because within my day job, I do mental health, and a lot of kids, that's the number one thing that they say that they missed the most was that social skills part of it.
Wow.
That interaction part every day. So yeah, I totally agree. Now, another question, Dr. Wilson. With the GTI, the Girl Talk International, you also help women choose their right career path and build successful businesses. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, absolutely. So one of the things that I primarily love to do, one of the things that I understand that we have to be educated. So one of the things, I'm a certified life coach myself. So I definitely coach educators that have gotten doctorates, that are on their way to get a doctorate. They're on their way. They've gotten their bachelor, now working on their master's. I'm a motivator, speaker. I'm a motivator. I'm a life coach. I do all of those things for educators, because it's very important that you get your education. And so one of the ways we do that is by encouraging the women to live their best life. And we motivate them, because a lot of times there are gifts and there are dreams inside of women, but because of what we've been through, because of what, grandma may have said, or some negative voice, or ex-husband, or just something negative, or ex-boyfriend, or whoever have damaged us, we stop getting educated. We stop pursuing our dream. So Girl Talk is the place you want to be at, because it's all about motivating and bringing the best out of women. And a lot of my passion in that is because I didn't get a whole lot of that motivation. When I came from a place where the majority of family members in my local, in my immediate family, did not get the education. My sister, who's like a year and a half older than me, she's the first one graduated with her high school diploma. I was the second one that graduated with my high school diploma, and I made it by the skin of my teeth to do that, because I was motivated by her. Then my sister. So it was only like a few of us out of 11 children that got educated and got a high school diploma. So that shows you the soil and the world that I came up out of. It wasn't too much people around me motivating me, saying, look, if you get straight A's, I'm gonna give. Well, that sounds funny, but you can really encourage a child to say, look, education is the right way. I'm going to give you an incentive. I'll give you reciprocity if you work hard on your grades. But there was no type of motivation. So it was easy just to quit school or don't get an education, because nobody really cared about education or where I came from on that level to push you for education. And so with that being said, now, because I understand what I wish I would have had, now I've become that motivator to motivate other women. And we have so many from the women that have allowed me to to coach them, that have been in the program of Girl Talk. They have their own businesses, they have degrees. I don't know what's wrong. I can't talk tonight.
It's okay.
They got degrees. They have their own businesses, and they're flourishing and doing amazing. They have that income. They're buying that house. They're doing well. They got married. And so a lot of prosperity and a lot of fruit have come out of Girl Talk, because it is a motivational place. The soil is motivation. It's not discouraging them. So I took everything that I've gone through in life that I wish I had, and I brought it in, and I said, look, this have now become a power source and a resource that I can use to motivate women. And that's where I get my strength from. A lot of my strength doesn't come because I got a lot of people that push me and support me and mentored me. It comes because I didn't have a mentor. It comes because I didn't get that motivation. And so we got teenagers, I got nieces, I got family member. I push them. Let me go take you shopping. Whatever I got to do to let you know you are amazing. You are wonderfully made. What do I need to do? You need shoes? Let me help support you in school. Look, if you get that A, I'm gonna give you an incentive for that. And so I'm so motivated to push people, because I know what I've been through, and I want to encourage everyone out there. Let's pay it forward. Don't let another young lady's story be like mine, that I had even people around me and family members that was educators that did not really look back and say, wait, I got some nieces that are struggling in this family. Let me go buy them some clothes. Let me encourage them to get educated. I think far too much that we get sucked in a vacuum with our own life, and we forget to help our neighbor.
Oh my God. I just want to hear you keep talking.
I have to shut up because I'm a talker. So, Lord, let me shut up.
That's so motivating, especially with you being who you are, and then me being trying and attempting to get to where you are. So that's very uplifting for me, and I love hearing that kind of thing, and it's very motivating and encouraging. So
Awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. And with that being said, you kind of went right into my next question. What has been the most influential resource for you throughout your whole career?
Oh man, I love you. You ask the best questions ever. You really do. I love having someone that know how to answer good questions. For me,
thank you.
You're so welcome. For me, honestly, it has been my heart and my desire and my passion for Christ. And I'm not trying to sound super spiritual, because I'm not one of those persons that had the mentor growing up, or you can give the glory to somebody else. And who knows, had that been the case, that probably would have been what I'm saying. I would have been saying, oh, my grandmother, oh, this person, they were just there for me. But honestly, my primary strength, I have a strong mother, and I thank God for my beautiful, wonderful, strong mother and her zeal. And I've received gold nuggets from many people coming up to where I'm now. So it's many people that have blessed me. My husband's been strength. But honestly, I have to say my primary has been Christ. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to be super spiritual. I'm just telling the truth, that it was him that was there when I was at my lowest. It was the Lord. For me, I am a dreamer. It was the Lord that gave me dreams to believe in myself when I had no belief in myself. I used to hate myself, but the Lord would give me these dreams and show me such a bright future, that he would always define me, that you're wonderfully made. You're going to do great things on the earth. I didn't see any of those things for myself, especially coming up in poverty and coming from a big home and no father. I grew up being bullied, and, didn't have the best things, didn't get the name brand shoes and all of that. My hair wasn't getting done weekly. We wasn't getting washed clothes and things at seasons. We didn't get the luxuries of life. I grew up struggling. And so for the Lord to start planting those dreams in me, and those dreams saved my life, because I'm like, okay, God, this is amazing. I wish I didn't have to wake up. I dreamed that I was in a beautiful home. I dreamed that I had more money than mom. I dreamed that, I didn't want for anything. And because God have always shaped my mind in the midst of my pain, in the midst of my hurt, in the midst of my broke down seasons, in the midst of seasons, up and downs, and marriages when it was dark, he always kept my mind and poured into me that I am somebody, regardless of what I felt like. And as a result of those dreams, I'm literally living out most of these dreams. I have no want. I haven't had no want in a long time. God has blessed me tremendously financially. He's blessed me with my husband, who's a pastor, beautiful, wonderful kids. I don't have no perfect life. I don't even know who has one. But I'll tell you this, the secret to my success is Christ. And I will forever on this earth always give all of the honor and the glory to him, because he has been the primary person behind everything that I have, even to this day.
Won't he do it? Oh, wow. That's, I don't even know what to say after that. I have more questions, but I don't even know what to say after that, Dr. Wilson.
Well, we can shout. This is a praise break moment.
Dr. Wilson. Let's so right there, that for me, honestly, that was very motivational within itself. Everything you just said within this last half hour of the podcast. But I want to go into a little bit more detail, and I want to have people to really use their minds and to really go on that journey in reference to personal development, to kind of figure out who they are. Like you said, having to figure out what is the best road for them to go down. I like to encourage people to always do self-love, self-care, and what that looks like is different to everyone. But coming from you and you being a life coach, are there any particular books or resources that you would like to encourage others to read that offer encouragement and inspiration?
Absolutely. One thing, if I got a second just to talk on the self-care, I am a person that absolutely have learned through Christ how to love myself. So I'm gonna tell you right now, and I do spoil myself. I believe in a good bath. I believe in soaking. I believe in putting stuff in there that costs some money, that when you get out, you feel like liquid gold. I really do. I believe in buying some good skincare and just loving on me, because it's going to be hard for me to love on you. It's going to be hard for me to love on Keya, and Rachel don't love herself. I can't love my neighbor like I love myself if I don't love me. So I'm going to tell you, I really love myself. I bless myself with nice things. I absolutely love the dress. I love the shop. I make sure that not only do I preach and teach and walk out the love of Christ, but I look like I love myself. You know, you got to look like somebody, you know, this ain't no performance. I just love me. And so loving me means taking care of your hair, get a pedicure, get a manicure, get a massage, you know, every now and then splurge on yourself. Don't just splurge on your kids. We probably spend $1,500 on a child's birthday one day, and they don't even know what we purchased at the age of 5. And then for yourself, girl, I'm not buying them $200 shoes. I'm not buying that dress for $200. If I can buy it for you, I'm going to love my neighbor like I love myself. Definitely. Faux show. I'm going to do it for me. You know? So, girl. So, yeah. So, and then as far as a book, my husband is a serial book writer. So I want to definitely thank God and give kudos to him. He has a book, and you can find it online right now. His name is Dr. Ronald Wilson. He has a book called The Dream Team. And I'm telling you, this book is amazing because it talks about everything in the Olympics. I don't know if you remember when the Dream Team came out. So the Dream Team that came out was all of the best players that came from all of the NBA, that it became a dream team. It was Michael Jordan. You have the best of the best, and that was the best Olympic team. And so it's geared from there, but it talks about each of us individually, how we need a team in order to fulfill our dream. And even spearheads with Jesus, you know, he needed a team, and Judas was on the team. He didn't reject Judas because he knew even that wild card was a part of him winning his game or winning in that team. So the book is amazing. It's one of my best books, along with another one, Dr. Dee Dee Freeman. She has a new book out called Focus, and it talks about not focusing on the focus on the promise, not the process. I'm getting everything mixed up. Okay. So her whole book talks about faith, and it talks about how most of the times we focus on the process so we don't get the promise. And hers is geared from her husband being sick and being on an eco machine for 6 months. So he was technically dead on a machine, living off of their machine. And God brought him back to life. His name is Apostle Mike Freeman, and her name is Dr. Dee Dee Freeman. Now, that's the small synopsis and the short version of it. Mm-hmm. But this book have literally changed my life and the trajectory of my life and my faith. Mm-hmm. So that's just just to name a few, just so I won't talk too long. But those are just a few things. And definitely, I said, just like I did before, self-care, ladies, you got to love on you. It's okay to every now and then buy a nice pair of stilettos. You got to love you. Don't spend out more to other people than you spent on yourself, because you're saying that they're more valuable than you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Wilson. Thank you. And before we head out tonight, Dr. Wilson, can you provide the listening audience with your social media platforms, so anyone that's been listening tonight that wants to get involved with the Girl Talk International Agency, Flavors, or even just to connect with you, they can be able to do so?
Absolutely. Now, listen, all of my social media tags are the same. At Rachel M. Wilson 44. At Rachel M. Wilson 44. Thank you for everything. And also, I have a new single out called I Can. It's doing very well on the charts and the billboards. Woo-hoo! And if you want to download that, iTunes, you can go on iTunes, Napster, anywhere there's a digital platform. I'm on there. You can purchase a song, and it will support the movement, the positive movement. I Can. God bless you.
And you guys, I will also post her single in my story, so you guys can check that out as well. Dr. Wilson, I would like to thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the podcast. But before we head out tonight, leave us with something encouraging and uplifting. Let's see here. Give us a scripture. Give us something good to go out with tonight, Dr. Wilson.
Oh, my God. Listen. Okay, so I want to I have this one right here. I'm sorry. I have to look because I have this one written down.
It's okay.
Okay, yes. So I love this, and thank you so much for this, because this is
I love your energy. So yes, thank you.
Well, I want to say this, John 3:16. I believe that's because that's where God has me at. I thought of this other scripture, but it just came in my mind. No, Rachel, John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but should have everlasting life. And I want to say that because this is a time like never before. People are literally giving their life to the Lord. And I want to encourage any of you that's on there today, listen, this is your opportunity to say, you know what, I want a new beginning. You can come into the kingdom for such a time like this. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Rachel Wilson, for coming on and being a part of the podcast. You guys, this is going to bring us to the end of this episode. We hope that you were able to hear something beneficial. If you enjoyed our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, you guys. And with that being said, always remember, you are a bomb within your own shell. Peace, love, and light, you guys. Good night. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're leaving with some valuable information that can help you on your personal journey. Also, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bombshell 1111 or at Bombshell 1111 TV. You can also check out our mental health page, Your Health is Your Wealth, on Facebook, which is a page created to inform and support individuals with mental health and other health conditions. And with that being said, always remember, you guys, you are a bomb within your own shell. And until next time, peace, love, and light.